This is Fallout 76. We're here on Xbox Series X, taking a look at a surprise next-gen aware update to the game. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well, and if you are grabbing any game, or, well, particularly this game, on the Xbox Store, consider using my affiliate link in the video description. It takes you to the Microsoft Store and supports the exciting content. Mothman! So yeah, when the game originally launched on the One X, it was a 4K 30 resolution frame rate. Then we were given an FPS boost for the Series X console, and then we were kind of inheriting like this 900p 60 FPS through that FPS boost. But now with a surprise update today, seriously did not see this coming at all. We're actually getting, well, a 4K 60 resolution and frame rate. But just keep in mind that it does seem to have some performance issues in that regard, but it is a much, much cleaner and better looking visual experience seeing this game running at the kind of resolution and frame rate quality that it is now. So hopefully they do sort of like fine-tune and polish things a little bit more over time, but yeah, this is looking much cleaner, it's looking much sharper, and to have that frame rate at the same time is, well, I think it's a good upgrade to the experience, so that's kind of nice to see that present here. There's also HDR support, and yeah, just kind of an interesting, I guess, again, you would say next-gen aware update to the game, just to improve that, visual experience. So I think that in itself is rather exciting to finally have available, because I think that has been a long requested sort of improvement to this game, is to actually get something that takes advantage of, well, the hardware, because it's just like this game, you would think with how much they push it and whatnot in regards to like, updates and marketing, that this would be something that would get, that sort of upgrade. So it is nice to see that that was finally added to the game. I'm tired. Of course I am. So if you're not familiar with the magic of, well, basically Fallout 76, brain fungus? Yum. Can I use some Halloween candy? If you're not familiar with the magic of Fallout 76, it is a multiplayer shared Fallout experience. At launch, the game really was honestly quite lacking in content in terms of like, essentially just really just kind of not having any narrative or storyline other than you going around collecting stuff. You know what the issue is? I need a weight booster. There we go. So, yeah, when it launched, it was just kind of like this really empty sort of world. There was, you were sort of sitting here being like, what is happening? Why is it like this? It was a survival game. But you were kind of just like really just curious as to like what the point of it kind of was. It was just sort of wandering around as this kind of crazy guy listening to audio logs. So if you have been gone, for a while, I guess you would say, from the land of Fallout 76, they've actually done, yeah, a lot of work to this game. There's actually been quite a few updates that add traditional narrative storytelling characters and interactive bits that you can actually go and do. The storylines are actually really cool too. There's one where you're dealing with like a bit of a gold situation. It's really quite neat, and there's this whole like sort of brotherhood dynamic, and there are a few different interesting sort of like, I guess you would say, combative scenarios going on in this one. Do I have any ammo for any of these guns? Is the kind of question. So anyways, yeah, they've gone and they've actually added some storylines that actually add, some good gameplay time. We did streams of them. They were a lot of fun. And that's kind of the cool part of Fallout 76, at least for me, is the multiplayer element. I always wanted to play like some level of like cooperative play in a Fallout game, and you know, Fallout 76 delivers that. That was the most fun I had playing this game at any point in its existence. Was the fact that like that you could, you know, play with somebody. You could play cooperatively with like a pal. And then there's also, it's like a seamless shared kind of multiplayer experience. And then there's like world events across what is like, I believe the biggest map that they've done in the Fallout sort of universe. It's really, really big. Like there's a lot like in here. Like there's a lot to see. There's like a lot to do. There's like world events, and like I said, they keep, you know, kind of like updating this one. They keep adding new things to for you to go and see and for you to go and do. So it's to me it's really quite intriguing, all of the content, all of the things they've done, as you know, because it's this live service experience where they've actually added quite a lot to the overall package. And then they had the expeditions with the pit, which I didn't really like at all. And then we're supposed to get a big Atlantic City update in the, you know, on the horizon. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. So you go and you visit, you know, like this boardwalk of Atlantic City. But yeah, it's like it was a very disjointed sort of launch, and I think they really have done a good job. Is this somebody's base? They have really done a good job of adding content and things for you to enjoy. I think this is somebody's... Yeah, this is somebody's camp. Oh, that is awesome. So they took the concept of building from Fallout 4, and they really blew it up in some exciting ways with this one. So there were some harder limits when it first launched, but they have expanded that greatly, and you can build some really cool like places, and like this is awesome. At the beginning you saw my sort of house, but yeah, you get to do all this like cool, you know, sort of base building and stuff, which I think is quite awesome. I love that. You know, for Fallout, the fact that that sort of thing, you know, kind of exists. So that's the whole element of the game too, is like survival. You know, it's lighter though, where it's like food and water and, you know, your usual sort of stats. In a Fallout experience, you have to monitor that kind of stuff. So that element of it's important. This is just like, I wanted to show this off because this is like where you first kind of get your quests going in this game, where you're actually doing story content. So yeah, if Fallout 76 is something where you've sort of been holding off on the game in regards to like, you know, that launch experience, it is a very different game now, and they have actually really put in the time to add and make it something that is worth playing for the Fallout fans. Because as I said, when this game launched, I absolutely just hated it. I really did think it was just terrible, and it was so disappointing coming off of Fallout 4, because I was like, oh wow, you know, it's a Fallout game that's going to be like multiplayer, and you know, that's really cool to me because like I said, I like, you know, the concept of playing Fallout with others. I think it actually can work. And then doing co-op and doing like the campaign stuff in this, I think it also kind of proved that, you know, it can work. What is with the AI today? They are so like uninterested in me for some reason. This is weird. But yeah, it's just like I think it definitely is a lot of fun when you get to play this with other people. Especially doing like big world events, doing the different narrative bits, doing the mission stuff together, making choices together. I think there's a lot here, and I hope it's a concept that we do see kind of expanded, because it is fun to play with others. It really honestly is. It's kind of a neat sort of situation. And now that they've, you know, added NPCs and added life to the game, it actually feels a lot better. I am really, really happy with what they've done in regards to that element. Now, it's not going to be super exciting for everyone because there still exists a lot of stuff where it's kind of like, you know, sort of just open world kind of exploration and that. But for some people, they really do just absolutely love the concept of this. And there are a couple different ways to play too. There's also like this Fallout 1 subscription thing where I'm kind of like, but yeah, you know, you can adjust stuff and kind of pick and play the game how you want to, right? That's kind of the neat thing, is the different approach elements of gameplay to this. And there are different like factions that you can explore. I guess I should mention the narrative bit of this one. So if you're not familiar with the story of the game, it's, you know, it's not too long after. It's like 25 years after the bombs fell. And you are chosen as the nation's best and brightest to emerge in post-nuclear America on Reclamation Day, 2102. And you do this alone or together. You leave the vault. It's a big celebration. And you go out and you start exploring and rebuilding this, like, in this new world. And I think some of the lore stuff gets a little bit weird because of that. And normally it's not always raining in this game. But we just happened to get rain today, which is, you know, kind of a funny, lucky thing, I guess. What was that? Oh, it's a... I was like... What? Where did that come from? Okay. And there's lots of leveling to do, and there's lots of things to do, too. Like, this game is just... Like, it is chock full of stuff. Something I actually really liked about this game was just, like, the scale and the scope of it is just, like, really genuinely impressive. Like, there are so many, like, different places to go. Like, if you're someone like me that enjoys visiting the different apocalyptic places of, you know, Fallout and just seeing the different buildings and everything like that, it's really, really quite cool from that perspective, because, like, all of these different, like, places you can actually go and, you know, kind of visit and fast travel to and explore, and there's my home base, and I'm very actually kind of proud of my creation there. And then there's this whole, like, sort of story thing where it's kind of like, you know, what has happened to this land. There's, like, a plague thing. There's all these creatures because of it. There's these, like, crazy global events. So, like, I kind of mentioned that there's, you know, you can do, like, world activities and stuff like that. But there's some, like, bigger nuclear type adventures you can have too. And the game does have, you know, like I said, a lot of, like, role-playing elements in regards to, like, your custom character, building your character, doing your stuff. There's a whole social element of play. There's a whole, like, there's the atomic store, so that you can, like, you can actually earn the stuff while you're playing too. When, if you have a Fallout First account, you can get other stuff. But, you know, they're always adding new, like, items, clothing, things you can grab. There's also always, like, a couple free items. Like, every time I seem to jump into this game, there's, like, a couple free items for me to grab. But there's, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the shop, and they've also got this sort of, like, not that, where is the thing I'm thinking of? Challenges. There's like this board that they have. Yeah, they have a scoreboard, so I think that's kind of like their battle pass of sorts. So that's kind of interesting. And a photo mode, and so there's, like I said, there's a lot to this game. It actually is pretty expansive, and it's just really nice that they finally, because again, this is something where I've been sitting here, and I think others have for a while too, just being like, you know, why it's nice to have a higher frame rate. It is, you know, that was appreciated, but it's like, it just absolutely, you know, butchered the performance of the game. So I was like, why can't we have both? You know, why can't we have the level of, like, performance and resolution? So I would say I'm very happy that we did finally get this sort of upgrade to the game, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy too that it's finally looking, you know, better and whatnot. And yeah, it's just kind of like a nice sort of random surprise where it's like, hey, the game is upgraded too. And I also like that it's sort of next gen aware as well, because, you know, a lot of them, it's you know, it is good to have everything optimized, but, like, at the same time, you know, just in regards to, like, usage for hard drive and everything like that, next gen aware is a nice choice. And I think it does look, you know, visually a lot better, and it does actually have, like, a good frame rate going on at the same time. Just, again, you know, keep in mind, like I said, that and I think you might have seen that during the video too, there are some performance issues and stuff like that. So, like, you know, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world to have problems. I mean, I'm thinking during some of the crazier events that might be an issue, but, like, just getting this game, you know, looking better like it should. It's like, the biggest thing is this is something that they are clearly supporting for the long term. You know, it continues to actually grow in player base. You know, something where they're doing literally yearly, you know, releases and additions to it. So it was just kind of puzzling, as I said, that it took, this long for them to actually give us the improvement and stuff like that to the game. It was just kind of like, why? What is the issue here? Why is it taking so long? Especially since, like I said, they just kept like, adding all of this new stuff to the game. So I was just like, what kind of gives, And then just randomly, and they don't even really like sort of mention it, and it's just kind of here, and you're like, huh? It was, to me, it was a very kind of surprising thing. I was just like, huh, all right. Should actually probably get rid of the rads too. Rad X, rad away. But yeah, it's all the signature elements of like Fallout that you very likely are familiar with, or you've experienced, or you've played, but it's in a multiplayer setup. So if you have a couple pals, or you want to run into random people, you can in this game. And you can do actual Fallout quests. They actually, again, have added that. I can personally quite vouch for that they are actually pretty cool story stuff. I like the gold stuff. I like the whole, I guess, I don't know what you would describe it as, like this like sort of Wastelanders stuff. Like there's actually like meaty quest lines that you go through and you do stuff. And there's a whole romance line, and that never worked out. But yeah, there is actual, things for you to do, things for you to enjoy. There's conquests for you to have. There's a lot for you to explore. The world is large. I think it's going to get larger. And I think it is ideally a good time for you to maybe give this a whirl if it is something where you've kind of like, sort of sat there and looked at and been like, is this really something for me? Is this a Fallout game that I'm going to like, kind of enjoy? Is it not what I was looking for? So I think that in itself, it's actually funny, and I'm totally leaving it and filming it in this situation with the rain, is it actually matches the the environment outside I've had for days, which is kind of funny. But no, seriously, like this is something I think that is worth playing now. I kind of like, I've been trying to show off some of the different like areas and places that you can get an idea of things, but like it really is quite cool. It really is something that they have spent time improving, they have spent time updating, they've added actual content to it, they've added more varied creatures and monsters, there's seasonal events that go on. It's really been getting towards that experience that I think we really should have had when this game was first kind of proposed to us. That sort of bridge of the traditional role-playing, the traditional storytelling of a Fallout game, but, in an open-world scenario. So it is disappointing, though, from the perspective of, like, at launch, this game really should have been what it's taken them a long, long time to get towards. But I think you'll find a lot of beauty out here in this world. Like, I think it will reach that Fallout expectation of, like, a place where you interact with others, a place where you see things, a place where you visit creepy locations, but one where there's multiplayer to it. You interact with others, you come across other people, you see different things. That's kind of creepy. And, it does have all of the charm, the bugs, and the hilarity, and the weird stuff that you would expect from a Fallout game. And it's just on a different scale, and I think that in itself kind of makes it this like really cool sort of experience that you can have a lot of fun with, that you can see a lot of cool things with, that you can explore within. You can shoot stuff, you can blow stuff up, you can build your class, you can collect weapons, you can interact with others, you can enjoy the crazy weather variants, you can meet quirky individuals, you make choices, you can tackle things in different ways. You can be creative, you can use your skill choices and your charisma and your stats across the game. And yeah, it's really got some neat systems and situations. And wow, I know, right? It just, yeah, Fallout 76 is something that is worth playing now. It does live up to that legacy of the Fallout games you love and and it took them a little bit longer to get there, and it is nice that we finally got this upgrade to the game that does improve the visual fidelity of it, the frame rate of it, the quality of the experience. So I'm very, very excited that this has been present and updated here, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to play more of this when it does look and feel a lot better overall.